Welcome to week 3 of our deep dive in Alchemista. I'm so glad that all of you are here, either in person or watching later. I am going to start us off with our 2-minute meditation. So in this meditation, just use this time to get present, let anything else fall away that you don't need, and really focus on some deep belly breaths. So I will start the timer now and I'll see you in 2 minutes. All right, my dears, I would love to start with a check-in around what happened for you last week and the exploration of resistance. And like we did last week, I invite you to keep this brief and really distill the essence of what has unfolded for you by choosing 3 words that you can share with us. So if you need to take a moment just to see what those 3 words are, that's great. And then whenever you're ready, you can share.
For me, I experienced blockage, disappointment, and then stillness. But I'm coming out of that a little bit.
Thank you. And if you're watching this recording later, do this for yourself. Find your 3 words for your experience. Well, I'll go. My 3 words are magic, synchronicity, and action. I think I'm a little tired from all of that awesomeness, but that's okay.
I'll share. I'm actually behind in the class. I haven't really had time to sit down, and I've only seen the first one. But it's funny because I'm kind of exactly in this place where I've been fighting resistance, and I've come to a point of accepting, allowing, and grace.
Great, thank you. And I'm glad that you're here with us.
Me too.
Mine is to let go and to love myself and patience, like acceptance, patience, being patient, giving the letting the flow, let the flow happen for me.
Great, thank you. Welcome, Sasha. We are just distilling the experience of our last week into 3 words and sharing that.
For me, it was opportunity, resolution, and healing.
Great, thank you, Nadia. And Sasha, we've all gone, so you get to go now.
Can you restate your question?
Yeah. So looking over the last week and your experience with Alchemista, what are 3 words that describe what has been going on for you?
Trust, clarity, and pace.
Great, thank you. And I realized that I forgot to call in everyone's names who aren't here. So I will just say everyone's names as a way to create that space, and we can move forward. So we have Nicole, Sarah, Marina, Francesca, Doiga, Sasha, Rain, Deanna, Renee, Nadia, Tara, Gabrielle, and Raven. Yeah, so welcome everyone, and thank you for sharing those words, and really well done in distilling the essence of what's been going on there. That can be a powerful process in and of itself to just really drop in and see, what is the essence of what's happened. This week, we're talking about working with nature and the elements from the elemental energy and alchemy practices that have just come out. This is, I don't know, this one feels really extra juicy to me. I love nature, so I think that's a part of it. And I think that there's something really beautiful about the way that the elements can reveal to us and bring clarity and illumination to whatever is going inside, whatever's stirring, what path our choice might want to take. We'll get into that a little bit more, but first, I was awake in the middle of the night. It just happens sometimes, and I was like, okay, so I'm going to tune into this class and more about what I want to share, and because I was feeling just a little hazy about what I wanted to bring forward. And there was something about being in that liminal space of the middle of the night or the super early morning that felt like I had more access to clarity, which, as I say that, feels a lot about what Alchemista is about. Is, there's our conscious mind that has a choice and wants to do these things. And what we're tapping into with Alchemista is the underneath and the deeper layers and the unconscious and the unseen realms. So it makes sense that there was more clarity for me personally in that liminal space of the pre-dawn hours. One of the things that Jamana says is in the very first transmission, why? Because I say so. Using the power of our will to just say, like, I want this thing, I choose this thing because I want it. And it's just that simple. So I see that as the first part of the process. And what I got some clarity on last night was just a really simple 2 words, which is the how is really about the allow. So we have this desire, we have a choice, we have something that we want to create or manifest. But how that happens, that can be the whole sticky part, right? I want to do this thing, but how would I do that? I don't know how. It feels maybe overwhelming or difficult or unclear or confusing. And I find that the how can really prevent us from moving forward and stop us from believing that it can happen or taking any action into it. So that how is a real sticky place. And what I'm experiencing personally in this Alchemista process is the how is like totally out of my hands, really. And the magic seems to happen when I'm tuning in and allowing the choice to speak to me, the resistance to ally with me and speak to me, the natural elements to speak. So all of those things are what can bring the how in, if I allow them. So I just want to invite, like, just take the how, if that is ever a challenge or a difficult thing for you, just take that out, because that is not our job. The how part, not our job. Allowing definitely is what we're working with in Alchemista. So starting with the clarity of the choice, and then really dropping in and using all these practices that I'm sharing with you and that are coming through the transmissions to cultivate that space of allowing. Because that's, I don't know, that's just where the infinite creativity of the universe can come through and really help guide the choice into fruition, and in a way that a lot of times we couldn't even imagine. It's quite amazing. And then there's the third part of the practice, which is taking the inspired action that you receive when you're allowing, when you're being open, when you're getting the information from the choice itself or from your resistance or from nature. It's going to give you information. And then your active, the important place then is to take that action. So will, because I say so, using your will to create the choice, dropping the how and stepping into allow, and then really taking that inspired action, whatever that is. So that's what I got in the middle of the night as like the 3 important parts of this process. Thankfully, I was able to go back to sleep and get into dream time from there. And really, I mean, as I view it, you can call it whatever you want, but this allow place is spirit, the universe, God, Goddess, all that is speaking to us and through us to help us create whatever it is that we want. Does that make sense? And are there any questions from there?
I have a question about the how, because part of my process right now is writing a book. And so there are a lot of technical aspects to that do require the how. But what I'm hearing, what I'm connecting with and what you're saying is that I don't need to know all those things right now. I just need to take the next step. And the part that feels like I I'm ready to step into, if that makes sense. And then the how will reveal itself in time. Does that resonate?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up because we are in a mystery school, right? And that means that there's a lot of unknown. And it's a real different paradigm shift to go from like having a linear path and having all the steps laid out and having the list created to this mystery place of, wow, basically all I know is like the next step. And then once I get into that next step and take that action, then the next one can be revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what you're saying really just calls that to mind, that it requires a certain amount of trust in the process of, you get the information of whatever the one next step is, trusting enough to just take that and be okay with only knowing that. And then knowing that once you're there, then the next step can be revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, the hows might come, like if you're sitting at your altar with your mudra, with your choice, it might come as, oh, I need to reach out and connect with this person. Might not even know why. And it may be that person knows how to do whatever it is that you need to do next. Mm-hmm. So it's a very, winding, mysterious, watery kind of path, as opposed to this is where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm definitely, actually the water was even used as a metaphor, that I have a collaborator and he said he noticed like two alternate forces in me. Like one was more of this flowing watery state and one was like this like rigid sort of masculine energy. And that second part didn't feel like me to him, and I think I've been operating from that second space for so many years that I'm learning more how to be in this sort of flowing water state, and it feels more comfortable in a lot of ways. But then I second guess myself, and my conditioning kicks back in. It's like, no, you have to do things this way,
Mm-hmm.
So there's sort of like that inner battle, or maybe not a battle, but balance that's being developed.
Yeah. I mean, I think with all of us, I think culture in general favors the linear masculine fashion, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like, they really need to be partnered together, the masculine, feminine energies, but we've been out of balance. So that's why the school is so long, and that's why it's so deep, because it's really helping us shift a whole paradigm of how to operate in the world and get to know like the other way too, so that we can reap all of the benefits and beauty that come from being able to be in that space as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else have anything around this topic?
This week, I say to myself something like this. You don't know the future. Only I know how my grandmother, grandfather, or my mother, my father tells me what is future or what to expect about it. But I don't want to be acting in the way they are already acted in their lives, and I want to let the flow come to me, and I want to trust this, because I want to create or I want to have something more passionate, loving in my life. Maybe I don't want to copy the things they are already doing or already did, or and I want to be a little bit more brave and more with courage and more with let the mystery be in my future. But this is not To be honest, this is not easy. This is not easy. I was playing tennis for about 2 years, and I was saying to myself, "Why are you that much playing tennis?" I really don't know, and I let it to play because I want to play. But if I ask the people, is this correct or not? Maybe so many people will say no to me, but I don't know it's correct or not in my life, for example. So, mm, mine is I say this week, let go, the world, let go and do what you can do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to read a poem at the very end that I think speaks to what you're sharing, and I will say, like, yeah, this is not easy. We're going against so much of what we've been taught, and in saying that, I want to honor each of you who's here, who's even willing to step, one step further into this process and this exploration, because it does take courage and bravery to turn away from what everyone else says and towards ourselves. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to move forward, and we're going to do, I think it's going to be a little bit longer meditation where we're really going to be connecting with the elements. We had a local circle here in Ashland a couple days ago, and Jemana led us through kind of an elemental journey, and it was really beautiful. And one of the keys that I took away from that was, as we go into this meditation and into this process, I want to invite you to allow each element to have nuance and distinction and specificity. So what I mean by that is, if we're talking about water, there are so many ways that water can be. Water can be a fine mist coming off of a waterfall, or just a rainy downpour. It can be melting snow or a stagnant pool, 100 other things. Same with fire, with earth, and with air. So as we go into this meditation, just allow yourself to open up to, like, the very specific way that each element wants to speak to you right now, because there is a wisdom and revelation in that. Okay, so let us drop in and close eyes. Allowing yourself to take, everybody please mute yourselves so we can have this be super quiet. Okay, so dropping in and coming back to the place that we started, where you're taking deep belly breaths, allowing your breath to be whatever pace feels best. Feeling where your body is resting on your seat. And find a nice place to rest your hands on your body. Allow yourself to feel gravity connecting you to the earth, with your root burrowing down into the earth, creating a nice, strong, grounding energy for you. letting yourself feel the embrace of the mama deep down below. And draw that nourishing, comforting energy up through your root into your body. And letting that energy nourish wherever needs it most. Feeling that energy move up through your heart and out the top of your head, connecting with the stars in the heavens above. Feeling those beautiful points of starlight now coming in through your head, into your body, and bringing light to any place that feels like it needs it. And find yourself resting gently into your heart space. Call to mind your choice. Bow down to the earth with hands on the earth. Speak your choice into the earth. Rising up with hands out towards the sky, and speak your choice towards the stars. And coming back to stand, speaking your choice to the front and the back. And then speaking your choice to each side of you. And feel yourself in the center, in your poise, surrounded by the clear intention and energy of your choice. You're contained beautifully and safely in a cocoon of your own energy and of your choice. If there's anything that feels like it doesn't belong here, that it's heavy or distracting, just let it leave this cocoon and then fall like lead into the earth, knowing that she can receive that and transform that so that you can be in a nice, clear, clean space of your own making. Again, focusing on your heart space. And being in a space of allowing. We are going to bring the elements in one at a time. And they will offer whatever it is that will help illuminate and clarify and support your choice. Take a deep breath into your heart space and allow the element of water to appear. Keeping your breath deep. And really allowing the nuance of water to reveal herself to you. And if there's any place in your body where this nuanced element of water would feel good, then let that come into that place in your body, bringing goodness and nourishment. Drinking in the water where it feels right. Offer your gratitude to water for revealing to you, and then let it go. Again, breathing deeply into your heart, feeling your grounding connection to the earth. Now we call upon the element of air. Allow it to show itself in its nuanced way that is meant just for you. Notice any details. And then see if there is anywhere in your body that would benefit from this quality of air. And if so, let that quality move into your body. Take a deep breath. Offer gratitude to this element of air. And then let it go. Coming back to your heart, back to your grounding. Now we call forward the element of fire. What is the nuance and quality of fire that is here for you now? Is there anywhere in your body that would benefit from this quality of fire? And if so, just bring it in there to nourish and support you. Breathing deeply, offering gratitude, the element of fire, and then let it go. And back to your heart, to your ground. The last element we call forward is earth. In what specific way does earth come to you? Is there any place in your body where it would feel really good to have this quality of earth? And if so, let it arrive there. Breathing deeply, offering gratitude, the element of earth, and then let it go. So before we leave this beautiful space, ask of all the elements, which one is most nourishing and supportive for you right now? And what is that quality? Then you can cup your hands together, allow that elemental quality to rest in your hands, and then place your hands on your heart so that you can really drink in and receive that nourishment and support. And from this place in your heart, one last time, speak your choice out. And let the vibrations of that sound ripple out and connect with nature and all of her expressions. You and the elements are connected. And by speaking this out, receiving the nourishment and the clarity and the nuance, you've created a resonance and a connection. We're giving thanks to the whole of nature and her elements. Come back to conscious breath, noticing where your hands are resting on your body. And where you are sitting on your seat. Allow some gentle movements to come into your hands, your toes, your shoulders. And in your own time, come back with open eyes. And I'll just give a minute or two for you to write anything that you'd like to capture from that experience, or to just sit with it with your open eyes and more conscious mind. So, would anyone like to share a nugget of your experience?
May I share?
Yes.
Um, about 4-5 years ago, uh, I was skiing and fall and broke my arm, and for 1 year I have surgeries, everything. And when doing the elements, I was in the nature. Elements, the accident happened in the nature, and I noticed that I have a very anger towards the nature, especially to the ground. I come face to face earth with this, and then I find that uh, uh, this is affecting my grounding, also my self love. This earth is my anger to earth. I find it, but I really feel emotions and the tears come when I am experiencing this, and it is good to have the awareness of this. And I think my choice is to have a lover, but I think this is belongs to the self love, and maybe from this after this experience, I think that my grounding is lost with the ground earth, I think. And also I asked the element of I couldn't find the English one, but the what's the light? The other one,
Fire.
fire. Yes, fire. I asked the fire to protect me, be my protector, and it's so good and emotional for me. Thank you for this experience.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing too. It's very revealing in such a beautiful way.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Who else would like to share? Great.
It was really powerful for how simple it was. Like there's tears streaming down my face. It was interesting how all of the elements were so like interactive. I couldn't really separate them because I would find one and the other. Like in the water, it was in the ocean in the Caribbean, and it was so warm, so it brought in like the kind of fire energy, and the salt just felt like salt of the earth, like felt so cleansing. The air one was really interesting, and I wasn't expecting it, but it made a lot of sense. Was the sound that what it made, like the when you hear like a windstorm and it's just whipping everywhere and howling, like that was really powerful for me. And then the fire, like I just wanted to put my hands in it to like cleanse. Like I think my hands are where I hold a lot of my rigidity and like my control, and it's like the fire wanted to like take that control away and burn it away. And then the earth too, I went to a place that I went to in the Virgin Islands that was like boulders in the ocean. Like, so everything for me, like was just connecting, like all the elements coming together. I wasn't able to really separate them. And for the air, I think the air was the one that I felt most connected to now, which is also interesting because I don't really feel myself connected to that element. I've always felt more connected to water and earth. So to feel like really connected to the air and feel how that's such a big part of my life, especially with sound and how I work so much with sound, it wanted to come into my body like so badly. Like that was the one that out of all of them, I started like opening my mouth and making sounds and allowing the air to come into my body. So it was really healing.
Thank you for sharing, Rain. That sounds really powerful. Who else? Who's next?
I had a pretty typical experience that I have when I'm working with the elements. The only thing that was really unique was I have a hard time with grounding as well, and I also have a lot of I don't always feel like I'm of this earth, so I feel a lot of alienness to things like soil. You know, I love the fact that people like Jasmine are so connected to nature, because to me it's like so alien in a way. And this time around, though, and I'm very averse to dirt. Like it's something that it's probably a trauma thing, but like it really makes me anxious. And so this time around, what was the most beneficial was actually filling my entire body with like really fertile soil, just like inch by inch by inch, like all the way to the top, and just like really feeling full and complete with that. And so that was new.
That sounds amazing. You know, especially kind of in the context of resistance, that what you just described is like not even wanting dirt, but then finding the lush fertility of that being nourishing. Like, that's just beautiful. Mm. Thank you. Sasha, did you want to share anything?
Sure. So when we're thinking about water, I just was immediately taken back to being a child at the farm where I grew up and playing in this stream down behind the pasture, just so cooling and peaceful and quiet, but then also so alive and such a place of discovery and wonder. And then for air, all I could think of is how great those really big, deep breaths feel when I'm hiking and I'm in the mountains. So I was really focused on how air feels in me and how necessary that feeling of space and expansion is. And for fire, it was funny because I just immediately thought of lightning, and that's all it was. And the way that when lightning comes to a place, you never know where it's going to be, and you can't pretend it didn't happen, and you can't pretend that space isn't completely changed. And I think that aspect of fire, that it could be so unexpected and so immediate, and such an agent of powerful, undeniable change. That felt like that felt really healing for me. And for Earth, it's my it's my favorite. So it's, for me, it's where I stand, it's where I walk, and all the ways I could imagine Earth, the only one that was right there is this sort of tiny, perfect path that I'm walking on that has the dirt showing in the middle and then the little grasses along the side. And that's it. There's just this perfect little path. I used to follow them when I was a child, and it didn't really matter where it went because I was just going on this path. And then in my choice, I've been working a lot with what my next steps would be, and letting go of the idea that I have a plan. And what came to me out of Earth was perfect, which was there is no map, but there is only one path. And it was so powerful. I just felt immediately like I should thank this mother that gives me the support for my journey and this place to walk my path.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sasha.
Thank you for creating this space for that to happen.
My pleasure. And Nadia, anything you'd like to share?
No, not really, because I actually fell asleep.
Yeah, I was wondering if that might happen for some.
So I'm really excited now hearing everyone's experience. I can't wait for you to send that email. So I've been so alert during these webinars, but for some reason, I mean, it's not even my bedtime, it's midnight, but I sleep pretty late. But I just fell asleep. I don't know what happened.
Well, that happens with meditations, and you still receive even if you're not consciously aware of it. So yeah, you'll get the replay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. For me, I think I got the energy of circles, like a hawk circling on an updraft where it doesn't have to flap its wings at all. It just rides the current. And then I got mist from the redwoods. And now, as I'm saying that, redwoods often grow in circles when one's been cut down. There's kind of a circular energy, and they do better when they're together. Then, like a warm, big, steady bonfire that, of course, is in a circle, and there's usually people around a big bonfire. And then warm mud with my toes in it. And I recalled a time when, a long time ago, I had a mud people experience where it was summertime and there was mud and everyone had mud all over, and we were just like kind of going crazy in the forest covered in mud, and it was amazing. And then the rain came and we got clean. So I'm just seeing the theme of somehow circle and people and connection and ease and all of that, which feels really good, really good. And the one that stands out is the hawk, just not even flapping and totally soaring, spiraling upwards. So your invitation for some homework to move forward from is to take your choice and bring it to whatever element you feel really called to. So this could look like just, bringing the choice to your mind and having it in your heart and being really connected to your choice and going for a walk in the rain, say, or taking your shoes off and just placing your feet on the earth, finding maybe some deep breaths after you've taken a run. So how is it that you can bring your choice to whatever element feels most alive for you, and just see what happens there? See if that element wants to give you some wisdom. We've been asking for wisdom from the choice. So what happens when you ask for that wisdom in conjunction with the elements? Could be, going and placing your hand on a tree, having a fire in your fireplace. So whatever that is, explore how the elements can support and inform what it is that you've chosen. Is that clear? Yeah. Okay. And it's back to that piece I was talking about earlier of letting the how go and bringing in the allow. So how can you allow the elements to help you out and give you a boost, give you some clarity? Yeah. So as we are wrapping up, I would love to have each of you again speak your choice out loud so that we can still hold it in this group field, and then share what you're taking away from this experience. So your choice and your takeaway.
So I choose to rise as a healer. I choose love. My takeaway from this experience here has been that I want to trust my heart to know the steps of my journey.
Thank you.
I choose to express myself without judgment. And what I'm taking away is that I don't need to have all the answers. And sometimes I can just let the elemental force of expression in whatever capacity, or if I just need to draw on the elements for nourishment and go back into Dark Mother, that's fine too. Like, it's all part of the process.
Thank you, Sarah.
I choose to feel whole and complete, and the takeaway is how do I say it in English? Unraveling. It's like peeling the onion, that kind of thing.
Thank you, Nadia. I choose to see obstacles as opportunities. And I'm really taking away this energy of allowing and not efforting and riding the thermals like the hawk with just great grace and ease.
I choose to live in abundance and to live in my purpose. And I think what I'm taking away from this entire experience with Alchemista is how important it is to connect in with my body and with my body's connection to the elements. And pleasure is the thing that keeps coming to me, is the warmth in my heart. And I'm going to use this practice tonight in my circle, by the way.
Great.
I think it's cool. Yeah, I think that it needs to be shared. I think there's a reason why witches work with elements, and that practice was definitely very evident of that.
Thank you, Rain.
My choices, I choose to have a lover as a husband, and also I choose to have a baby. And my takeaway is even the earth itself can give pain and harm anything to me. Trusting even to the like you said, to the obstacles, trusting to the pain and the discomfort, trusting to the discomfort, and learning to grow in the discomfort, and trusting to this discomfort, not to saying it as something bad the earth is giving to me, and trusting it's an opportunity for me. This is my takeaway.
Thank you, Toika. So this is a process, right? All that we've done here in this deep dive and all that we're doing just through all of the teachings of Alchemista, that you can do again and again and again, and that you can deepen into, and it can become second nature even. So I invite you to follow this process again. You know, keep following it with your choice right now until that feels complete, and then watch the replays again, do the practices again, and let yourself just really start to embody this more and more and more, so that you can find much more ease and support in creating what it is that you want in your life. And I will end with this poem that speaks to the bravery that it requires to be a woman who is standing in her power and her choice. This is by one of my favorite poets, Mary Oliver. It's called The Journey. One day you finally knew what you had to do and began. Though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble, and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Mend my life, each voice cried. But you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do. Though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough, and a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. So, my dears, thank you so much for being part of this process. It's a joy and a pleasure for me to be holding this space, and I'm truly honored to share it with you. And I wish you grace and ease and support as you rock your life in the way that really works for you. So blessed be, and I'll see you in all kinds of other ways through the school. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Mm-hmm.